Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that every excuse you've ever made, every "I'm too tired," every "I don't have time," every "maybe tomorrow" was actually a brick in the wall standing between you and the life you were meant to live? Picture this: a young man with no money, no mentor, no map, just a relentless desire not to fail, and 1,000 reasons why he should. But here's the twist: he didn't listen to a single one of them. Why? Because success doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It shows up for those who move even when the ground shakes. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if I try and still fall flat on my face? Well, that's cute. Let me ask you this: what's scarier, falling or never flying at all? This isn't a pep talk, this is a wake up call. Because the truth is, no one's coming to save you, and if you don't build your own ladder, you'll spend life stuck on the first rung. So before we dive into how to flip pain into power, let me ask, are you ready to burn your excuses and step into the fire that forges champions? Or are you still looking for a comfortable way to quit? Discipline outperforms motivation. This idea is more than just a catchy phrase. It's a truth that separates those who dream from those who do. Motivation is emotional, temporary, and dependent on circumstances. It comes and goes like the weather. One day you're fired up, ready to conquer the world, and the next you're struggling to even get out of bed. That's the dangerous trap of relying solely on motivation. It's like trying to run a marathon on a sugar rush. It gives you a burst, but it never lasts. Discipline, on the other hand, is the fuel that keeps you going when the excitement fades, when your goals feel far away, and when no one is watching. It's the voice in your head that says, "I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway." It's consistency in motion. True success is not built in moments of inspiration, but in moments of decision. Every time you choose to act in alignment with your goals despite how you feel, you're building the muscle of discipline. When you wake up at 5 a.m. to study, train, or build your business, even though your bed is warm and your eyes are heavy, that's discipline in action. When you show up for yourself after a bad day, a tough week, or a complete failure, you're proving that your commitment is stronger than your mood. And that kind of resilience is what creates unstoppable people. Motivation is a good starter, but discipline is what carries you across the finish line. It's easy to act when you're inspired, but what about when you're exhausted? When things go wrong? When progress is slow and invisible? Most people quit in those moments, not because they don't have the talent, but because they don't have the habit. Discipline removes emotion from the equation and replaces it with routine. It turns the question from, "Do I feel like it?" to, "What needs to be done?" That shift in mindset is what drives consistent results, even in the absence of ideal circumstances. People often wait to feel ready before they begin, not realizing that waiting is its own form of sabotage. Readiness rarely shows up fully formed, it's built through repetition. The gym feels uncomfortable at first. Writing that book feels awkward in the beginning. Learning a new skill is messy and frustrating. But discipline doesn't care about how polished or prepared you feel, it only cares that you show up. And the more you show up, the stronger your confidence becomes. Over time, the actions that once felt hard become habits, and those habits stack into results. Discipline is about becoming the kind of person who does the right thing, not the easy thing. It's about choosing long-term rewards over short-term comfort, about aligning your daily actions with your deepest values, even when no one applauds you for it. It's the quiet grind, the behind-the-scenes effort that looks boring to others but builds greatness in the shadows. It's what keeps you grounded when emotions swing and distractions knock. Without discipline, motivation is just noise. With discipline, even silence becomes powerful. Excuses are lies we tell to protect our comfort zones. They feel safe, they sound reasonable, and they often convince us we're being smart or cautious when in reality we're just avoiding discomfort. At their core, excuses are not rooted in truth, they're rooted in fear. Fear of failing, fear of judgment, fear of change, and even fear of succeeding. We wrap these fears in perfectly logical sentences like, "I don't have time," "I'm not ready yet," or "maybe next week." But beneath every excuse lies a simple truth. We are choosing what's familiar over what's necessary. The comfort zone is seductive. It's a space where we know the outcomes, where risks are minimal, and where we're rarely challenged. It gives us a false sense of control. But growth never happens in that zone. The moment we feel tension, the moment something stretches us beyond what we're used to, our minds rush to find a way back to comfort. That's when the excuses start flowing. This isn't the right time. What if it doesn't work out? I need more experience. These statements don't reflect reality, they reflect resistance. They're our mind's way of justifying inaction so we can stay in a place that feels emotionally safe. But the price of comfort is often opportunity. Every time we choose to believe our excuses, we close the door on a version of ourselves that could have been stronger, braver, and more capable. Excuses may keep us safe in the short term, but they cost us our potential in the long run. We miss out on new experiences, untapped talents, and the lessons that only come from trying, failing, and rising again. The tragedy isn't that we fall, it's that we never allow ourselves to leap. Excuses also give us an illusion of control over failure. If we don't try, we can't fail, right? But not trying is its own kind of failure, just quieter, less visible, and far more common. It's the kind that creeps into your life over time, making you wonder where all the years went and why the dreams you once had now feel like distant memories. We protect ourselves from pain by avoiding risk, but in doing so, we also protect ourselves from growth. People often think the enemy of success is failure, but more often, it's the excuses we make to avoid the hard work that success demands. Excuses don't show up as villains, they show up disguised as logic. They whisper, "Be realistic," or "You don't have what it takes," and they sound convincing. But every time we choose to accept them, we trade action for avoidance, and the more we repeat them, the more they become beliefs. Over time, our excuses build walls around us not to keep danger out, but to keep us in. We stay in jobs we don't love, relationships that don't fulfill us, and routines that drain us, all because change feels harder than staying still. But what feels safe today can become a prison tomorrow if we're not willing to question the lies we keep telling ourselves. Success demands sacrifice. Comfort is the first casualty. That's a truth many people underestimate when they start chasing their goals. The idea of success is attractive. It sparkles with freedom, recognition, wealth, and a sense of purpose. But the journey to that success is often paved with discomfort, discipline, and deliberate choices that force you to give up the very things that once made life easy. Most people crave the outcome without understanding the cost. They want the reward without the process. But every real success story starts with a decision to step away from the familiar and enter a space where growth and pain often walk hand in hand. Comfort is addictive. It makes us feel secure, relaxed, and in control. But it also dulls ambition and masks urgency. It tells us we're okay where we are and whispers that trying harder is unnecessary. When you're comfortable, you don't feel the need to stretch, to push limits, or to explore what you're truly capable of. That's why comfort must be the first thing to go when you decide to chase success. Because success isn't comfortable, it's messy, unpredictable, and often exhausting. It demands long nights, early mornings, missed parties, and hard conversations. It asks you to say no to distractions, to silence the noise, and to double down on what matters, even when the world around you is urging you to take it easy. Sacrifice isn't just about losing sleep or skipping meals. It's about letting go of mindsets, habits, and relationships that no longer align with your goals. It's about outgrowing the version of yourself that settled for average and stepping into a new identity built on effort, resilience, and vision. That kind of shift isn't easy. It's painful to leave behind what's known and step into the unknown. It's uncomfortable to fail in front of others, to feel doubt creep in, and to keep showing up even when results are invisible. But every moment of that discomfort is shaping you. It's chiseling away your weaknesses and sharpening your strengths. It's building character, endurance, and a level of mental toughness that no shortcut can offer. People often ask what it takes to succeed, expecting a list of steps or a secret formula. The answer is far more uncomfortable. It takes everything. It takes the willingness to struggle while others rest, to believe while others doubt, and to act while others wait. Comfort zones never birth greatness. They are where dreams quietly die, buried under the weight of maybe later and not right now. The ones who make it to the top are not the most talented or the luckiest, they're the ones who made peace with discomfort. They learned to find strength in sacrifice and saw every challenge not as an obstacle, but as a test of how badly they really wanted it. The further you go on the path to success, the more you'll be asked to give up. And what you choose to surrender, whether it's time, pride, or the need to be understood, will reveal how committed you truly are. Your results will never exceed your standards. This isn't just a motivational statement, it's a mirror. It reflects the reality that what you achieve in life will always be limited by what you're willing to accept from yourself. People set big goals, create long to-do lists, and speak confidently about their dreams, but very few pause to examine the standards behind those goals. Standards are the baseline, the invisible rules that shape your decisions, behaviors, and mindset when no one is watching. They are the boundaries you refuse to cross and the expectations you demand from yourself, not just when things are easy, but especially when things get hard. The brutal truth is, you can't outperform your personal standards in the long term. If you tolerate inconsistency, you'll live in inconsistency. If you let yourself off the hook every time it gets uncomfortable, your results will reflect that pattern. Most people don't fail because they lack ambition, they fail because their standards allow them to. A person can dream of becoming world-class, but if their daily behavior is rooted in average effort, that dream remains fiction. Standards are what define the difference between wanting success and preparing for it. They are enforced in the early hours when you decide whether to hit snooze or rise with purpose. They appear when you're deciding whether to take shortcuts or go the extra mile. They're present in how you speak to yourself, how you treat others, how you handle setbacks, and how you react when no applause is given. The gap between goals and results is filled with the standards you live by. Every time you raise your standards, you raise the ceiling of what's possible. There is a silent power in holding yourself to a higher level than what's required. It means showing up early even when being on time is acceptable. It means finishing strong when quitting would be easier. It means being excellent in private when mediocrity would go unnoticed. That kind of self-respect creates results that don't just meet expectations, they exceed them. And the moment you stop tolerating laziness, distractions, excuses, and self-sabotage, your life begins to shift. Your environment responds to what you demand, not what you desire. If you demand focus, your habits follow. If you demand growth, your choices align. It's never about what you say you want, it's about what you prove you're willing to uphold, even on the worst days. Raising your standards isn't about perfection, it's about refusing to settle. It's about raising the bar higher than your circumstances, your fears, or your current limitations. It's a decision to operate with integrity, to keep your promises to yourself, and to push beyond what's comfortable. The moment you realize that every result you have is a reflection of what you've tolerated, everything changes. Because now you're no longer waiting for success, you're becoming the kind of person who demands it from every area of life through the standard you live by every single day.